Okay, what we're going to do today is talk about and review adding value to your line drawing on your details. So you should have your boxes on your paper, and they should be double the size that they of the boxes. So you should have 2 by 2 inch boxes, and you should have a simple line drawing of the area that you are enlarging. So for me, this is this arm right here, and I'm going to add a little bit more to the bottom of the arm so we can add value to that. Just a simple line drawing to give you the shape. Once you have that line drawing on, go ahead and erase your inner grid lines, because you're not going to want the value to go over those. And since we're wanting to remove the grid lines with our erasing, we're going to use the white eraser. Alright, so I have my arm here. You probably can't see the line because it's super light, but it's right here. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding some value to it. And I'm using a 4B, so not the softest, but one of the softer pencils. And I'm going to be referring quite frequently to my image, looking for the darkest areas of my mediums. This area here has a lot of dark and just medium, and very little light value. So I'm going to start on this outer edge. This is the darkest part. And as you can see, I'm just lightly applying the graphite right now. I'm not pressing down as hard as I can, trying to get it all the way dark at the very beginning, okay? Even though it's the darkest area, you want to add the value gradually, not dark and all at once. And you certainly don't want to press down so hard that you are burnishing the graphite on the paper. If you remember from the colored pencil techniques that we did, when you press down too hard, you really are burnishing it on. You can move your pencil, up and down like this. You can go in circular motions like we did with the colored pencil. Either way applies the value to the paper. And since we are using blending tools, it's going to get rid of the lines. You don't want to see the lines when we're finished. So I'm just lightly applying the value to this whole area, because there's really no super light areas of the arm right here. I probably have maybe 4 values in this area, so I don't have to, I'm not going to leave any of it white. All of it has some level of value. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop and show you and remind you of some of the blending techniques. So we can do that. So I'm going to use the 4 blending step. And remember, we don't want to use the point, you want to use the side. And I do want this to go in a circular motion. So working from the darkest area over, I'm using the side, and I'm really just smoothing out this value, getting it in the tooth of the paper, and seeing what level of value I'm at. Do I need to add more? Do I need to remove some? Seeing the progress. So, alright, so this is not dark enough on the edge here. This is a nice medium range. It gets a little bit lighter and it's a little bit darker over here, but it's not dark enough. So I'm actually going to get my 6B, because this is a pretty dark edge of the arm, and it's not the whole arm, it's just part of it. And you can see already how much darker the 6B is as I start to add the value here on top of the 4B. Now, why wouldn't I start with the 6B? Well, you could start with the 6B, but it's better to gradually get darker, because the more you remove from the paper, the more you try to erase, the more the paper gets damaged, and the harder it is to blend in the graphite smoothly. So I'm just going to add the 6B all the way down. Something you might notice when you're doing this is that where you had the grid lines before, because you drew them with an H, just a harder pencil, it made little indentions. You probably can't see it on the camera, but I have little white areas where the lines were. And when I'm using the blender, I'm going to really make a point to try to blend into those light white indentions so that they don't show up. We don't want to see any remnants of the grid whatsoever. So circular motion, working my way out, just a little at a time. Nice smooth value, much like what you see in your picture. So that's the beginning of that. I don't know if I have a 2B. If I have a 2B, I might add a little bit over to the side. I think I just have 4. We have the HB, so I could start over with the HB a little bit right here and add some value to get that next lighter, because it does get lighter as I move to the left. Because there is no absolute white. So just adding a little at a time, checking your value to your image, making sure that the light source is correct, and making sure that you're blending so that you cannot see the lines that you're making with your pencil. All right.